Hey everybody, my name is Paul Esden Jr., aka Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. And before we go to bed after a late, very late round one, I just did a 4 hour plus live stream. The first time I've ever done anything of that magnitude. I did it with Brandon Carney. You guys can check any part of that out on, of course, my live section on YouTube. We also did cut up the pick of John Ledyard, our NFL draft analyst, who gave his take on the Will McDonald pick. So if you guys would like that reaction, it's a quick 2.5 minute video with the pro player comp and stuff. That's on the YouTube channel. But today, what I wanted to do was get this out as early as possible. I wanted to rank the top Jets options for day two of the 2023 NFL draft. And day two covers both the second and third round. That starts at 7 o'clock on Friday, depending on when you're listening to this. I will say this, it could be a quick night for the New York Jets. The only pick they have scheduled is the 43rd overall pick in the 2023 NFL draft. That's a second round. They do not have a third rounder. They traded that when they moved up to this pick, as a matter of fact, for the Elijah Moore trade, combining number 74 overall and Elijah Moore to move up to have back-to-back second-round picks, 42 and 43, respectively. One of those, obviously, 42, being sent to the Green Bay Packers. So they only have one pick right now. So take that for what you will. But still, I wanted to evaluate some of the top options that are still on the board. And like normal, players that have fallen. Will Levis has fallen, but the Jets will have no interest in quarterback. That would stun me. Again, they have Zach Wilson. There's been this plan to mentor and train Zach Wilson. So despite the talent, I don't believe the Jets will be going in that direction. But a player I like a lot is Michael Mayer, the tight end out of Notre Dame. He's massive. He is absolutely a freak, and he's someone that really intrigues me in a lot of different ways. 6'5", 249 pounds. I get it. The Jets have tight ends, but he's just so spectacular. A complete tight end. I think he could be a Jason Witten at the next level, who will eventually end up in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. That one intrigues me, and I'd be willing to do it. And Nathaniel Hackett, again, he didn't bring any of these tight ends in, so he could be open to that. Brian Branch, of course, on the board at safety. He's a weird fit. You could hear that with my John Ledyard conversation at the end of the live stream. So he's a bit of a unique product, but again, he's super talented. The Jets need safety. He's 6 foot, 190 pounds. But again, where does he fit? It's very scheme specific on where he could land at the next level. Luke Musgrave, another tight end, has been floated to the Jets a few times. Another massive guy, 6'6", 253 pounds. Again, a traits based guy. Again, same thing with the quarterback conversation. Hendon Hooker also available here in the second round, the day two. Again, with the age and everything that's around that, I would be surprised. Some guys I like, though, Steve Avila, TCU. He's a guy that can play guard. He can play center. He's 6'4", 332 pounds. I think the Jets like him a lot. You have to strongly consider center. I know they re-signed Connor McGovern, so maybe that's less of a need. They could also trade back, of course, from 43 to give themselves multiple picks here on day two. And that's why I wanted to go through several options with you guys for day two of the draft. Keanu Benton, defensive tackle. Will McDonald is a pass rusher. They still need some interior beef. Keanu Benton out of Wisconsin is a very popular name that has been often mocked to the Jets this offseason. 6'4", 309. Can kind of give you a little bit of everything in there from an interior perspective. Another tight end, Darnell Washington. He's a freak. I mean, this guy is crazy. 6'7", 264 pounds. He doesn't have a lot of production at Georgia because they just, quite frankly, didn't use him. But if you're looking for traits and looking for a guy that can pop, he fits the bill. If you're looking for some interior beef on the offensive line, Osiris Torrance. No guards was taken unless you count Peter Skoronski in that realm. So he's a nasty guard that could be plug and play. Again, I'm pretty sure the Jets like what they have. Obviously, an AVT and Lakin's back for next year at a minimum, if not more. Something to potentially keep an eye out for there from that perspective. You could go with a guy like BJ Ojolari, a pass rusher. But again, with the Jets just going that at Will McDonald, I doubt that they go in those waters. John Michael Schmitz, of course, another center you have to throw out there. He comes into the picture out of Minnesota. And then a couple of guys I just want to throw out there that could make a lot of sense. Matthew Bergeron, he's a Syracuse guy. He's a local guy. The Jets did not go offensive tackle, obviously, in the first round, but they could certainly kind of swing back at it with a guy like Matthew Bergeron who could play either on the outside or the inside. I'd like Trenton Simpson out of Clemson. The Jets could use a linebacker. There's a chance they re-sign Quan somewhere here over the weekend. Keep an eye out for that potentially. Wide receiver Jalen Hyatt, he's a speed demon if the Jets really want to add that to the table. I also skipped over Joe Tittman earlier. He's another center. obviously, that the Jets could do some homework on. But some of my favorites, again, to recap, Michael Mayer, I love him a lot. Overall value, I think he could be among the top 10 tight ends in all of football, maybe even higher than that. Brian Branch is interesting. Again, if the Jets approve the scheme fit with his unique size and also some of his traits from that perspective. Any of the centers, Steve Avila, John Michael Schmitz, all those guys, Joe Tippmann, all those guys are on the board. Darnell Washington was another one I brought up. O'Cyrus Torrance, I like interior wise. John Michael Schmitz, we mentioned Jalen Hyatt, speed, Matthew Bergeron. That's really one of my favorites at this point that could be available. Also, Trenton Simpson is another one as well that I really like a lot. We recently talked about that potential fit. Other offensive tackle fits that kind of intrigued me. DeJuan Jones, he's just freaking massive, man. I mean, this would bring some Brutus beefcake. He's 6'8", 374 pounds. So you're just bringing obviously gargantuan size potentially to the table with that. Josh Downs is an interesting wide receiver at North Carolina, could plug right into the slot for the New York Jets. He's one that obviously tickles my fancy a little bit. And also Drew Sanders. He's the one that could have went sneaky first round, but he's a guy who's sliding down the board a little bit. Someone else to keep an eye out for as well. So there's a bunch of names, guys, for day 2 of the NFL draft. Wanted to give you guys a kind of a quickie of the Jets stay at 43 and take their pick, then the day is over. However, I think there is a big possibility that they could trade back from 43, pick up some capital, get like a mid-late second, and then an additional third and change perhaps. The draft value chart could help the Jets from that perspective. Thanks everybody for tuning in, whether it was to our massive 4-hour live stream or even to some of these quick videos. We'll have some more insight on the channel, and looking forward to this summer. Meet the Fleet. We will bring on experts from wherever all these players came from, like Will McDonald. So we'll bring on an Iowa State insider to learn more about him and every other Jets draft pick that ends up coming here this offseason. So guys, stay right here. Free way to contribute. Like the video, hit subscribe down below to show your support. Thanks everybody for tuning in, and it's a happy draft season, baby, right here on Boyd Green's YouTube channel. Thanks, everybody.